Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV in the house like kitchen sinks. Now, before I get into this afternoon story, if you will, y'all jump in the comment section. Let me know where you're chiming in from. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky. Let me know your city, your state, your hood, your set, whatever it may be that you're representing, and let us know if you're the man or the woman that you say you be. You know, I tell these prison stories, right? So I don't always tell prison stories, but I tell several prison stories. People hit me up in my email, realkenstv@yahoo, realkenstv@yahoo, or they hit me up on my phone, 859-697-7676, 859-697-7676. Now, some people have my other number, but I broke my screen, so I'm waiting to get that replaced, if you will. So for the time being, you all have, actually it's not for the time being, just you all have multiple outlets to reach me. I am for the people. Prison is dangerous. I don't know how many times I can say it. I don't know how many times I can, and I'm not saying this as though you all don't recognize that. I'm just simply saying there are some that don't quite understand the dynamics, the politics of prison. So therefore, they continue to do what they're doing out here on these streets. That's ultimately going to land them in prison or in the graveyard. That's just what it is. I don't know how to be any more clear about the situation, emphatic about the situation. We're gonna go back to about, I don't know, I've been out of prison for so long. We're gonna go back to roughly about 10 years ago. Actually, it's probably about 8 years ago, maybe even 7, somewhere right around in that range. I'm in the pen or whatever, and I'm kicking it with my dog, NY, New York. Shout out to New York, man. My dog, New York, man. Somehow we just clicked. I don't know how. I don't know. You know, I'm always going to paint a picture. Come on, kids, get to the story. I'm always going to paint a picture. If you want your 8 to 10 to 12, 15, 15-minute videos, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But at Real Kens TV, it's 30 minutes or better. So with that being said, with all that being wrapped up into one big old nutshell that is, pause, double pause. There is a message. Kicking it with my dog. New York, man. In New York, was about a 6'3", dark skin, had gray hair. You could tell, like, and no disrespect to New York, but you could just tell looking at him, he had a rough life. New York at the time was probably, New York had to have been 50. And if he wasn't 50, he was close to 50. The nigga looked 50. But he was just a cool, laid-back cat, man. Now, I had already had previous experiences, or, I had met New York prior to being in the pen with him. Now, when I say prior to being in the pen, I was at the Rotary Farm with him. The Rotary Farm, for y'all that don't know, and I know a lot of you do know, you get processed at the Rotary Farm. So, once they give you, kind of like, well, I'm not even going to use that as an example. I was going to use Diddy as an example, but I don't know about the feds. But in the state, I'm in Lexington, Fayette County Detention Center. Once the judge finds me guilty, they tell me I got to go do hard labor in the penitentiary. Yeah, whatever. But nevertheless, hard labor in the penitentiary. They're going to send me to a place that's called LaGrange, a.k.a. the Rotary Farm, a.k.a. the fish tank. Going to go there, going to get processed. They're going to do my fingerprints. They're going to do my mental and physical evaluations. I'm going to be assigned to a caseworker. And at that point, they're going to determine what custody level I am. Am I minimum, medium, maximum, double max, death row, whatever. Well, death row is kind of self-explanatory. But the point that I'm making is you go through the Rotary Farm, and then you may be there 30 days if you go into a camp or somewhere low level. But then again, you may be there 4, 5, 6 months. Just depends. See, penitentiary, locking people up is a business. So they have to have that bed space available. If they don't have it, guess what? Your ass is just going to sit at the Rotary Farm until they have bed space. That's why I initially met New York at. Dudes was playing with him. We all in one dorm. It's 100 people in a dorm. You got 100 people in a dorm. You got 4 phones. One definitely don't work. Maybe 2, because dudes is calling their girls and they can't reach them, and they taking the phones and banging them. You stupid. Banging the phones on the wall so the phones don't work. You got 2 microwaves. You got one, actually you got 2 JPay machines. JPay, for you all that are not familiar, is just it's like a machine, and they put it on the wall. It's a computer on the wall, essentially. And you can get on there and email people, and they can email you or whatever, but you only have like 15 minutes, and then you have to get up and allow the next person to. Well, kids, it depends. You ain't got to get up after 15 minutes. Yes, you do, because of the time you out. The people that created JPay, I guess they already thought about that idea. So they'll time you out, and you can't get back on there for like 30 minutes. So you have no choice but to allow the next individual to get on to the JPay machine. You got 1 TV, no remote control. Imagine that. You got 100 inmates. Not just inmates, but most of them are convicts. There's a difference between a convict and an inmate. Anybody can be an inmate. Get locked up, you're an inmate. But a convict, he goes by the code. He, no snitching. Ain't no, it is what it is. You get it how you live. When you walk to the back of the cell, it's probably, I don't know how many feet, maybe a third of a football field. They got the bathroom. You got maybe 5 or 6 toilets. I'm gonna say 5 toilets. You got 5 sinks. Then you got a shower area. Shower area holds about 10 people. So just imagine, when you go take a shower, you around several other individuals while you taking a shower, people that you don't even know. But this is what penitentiary truly is. So UIN, actually any and everybody that'll listen, but I'm specifically talking about the YNs, man. If you're not familiar with what YNs means, just Google YNs. What does YN mean? And you'll see exactly what I'm speaking of. Y'all rock with me. I'm in the dorm, man. You in there 23 hours a day. They give you an hour a day out for rec. Sometimes rec is 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm not going to rec at 8 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it's at noon. Sometimes it's at 1 o'clock. Whatever the case may be. Some days I went out for rec. Some days I didn't. I had a hernia at the time in my belly button. So I couldn't, every time I go to the pen, I work out. It's crazy, because on the streets, I don't really work out like that. But when I get locked up, I try to stay prepared. I try to stay ready. But I had a hernia in my belly button, and I got to the point to where I was just starting to look like real kind of sloppy a little bit, because I wasn't working out. Everybody else, they going out for that hour. They making the best out of their time, man. Sometimes, like I said, I would go out. Some days I would just chill, just get a peace of mind. It's 100 people in the dorm. So imagine, out of 100 people in the dorm, 95, 96 people are going out. You might have 4 or 5 people that stay behind just to get on the phone, or just hear that silence in the air, or you might want to take a shower and you don't got 50 million people around, or you might want to use the bathroom, sit on the toilet. Because at the Rotary Farm, they don't have dividers. Well, at the time they didn't. When I say dividers, meaning that, okay, if there's a toilet here, 3 feet away is another toilet. There's another toilet. There's no wall. There's nothing separating. People walking in and out. COs walking in and out. There's no privacy or respect whatsoever at the Rotary Farm and at a lot of prisons. I haven't been to every prison in Kentucky, but I've been to quite a few. New York and I, man, we became real cool. He loved to play chess. I love to play chess. We would talk crazy, but we kept it, respectful or whatever. New York was one of them type dudes that everybody kind of gravitated towards. Like I said, the nigga had to have been about 50. Young dudes in a pen, a lot of times they ain't had no dads. And so they'll gravitate towards an individual that's a little bit older or whatever, because it's like, man, maybe it's not done intentionally or whatever, but this person is kind of, steering them, giving them a little bit of direction, if you will. Wouldn't say trying to tell them what to do, but just, youngster, man, I fool with you, so maybe you should try to do it this way, opposed to going this way with it. In New York, man, we was just cool, man. I'm talking about they would cut the lights off every night at 10 o'clock. They got bed areas. You go to a person's bed. It's not sales or anything. We're going to take that whole, what you all see on television, that's out of the equation. You have it's like an army barracks. You know what I mean? 50 people on the left side, 50 people on the right side. They cut the lights off. It's quiet time. You don't have to necessarily be in your rack. You can kind of walk around a little bit. You're not supposed to, but you can kind of walk around a little bit. As long as you're being respectful and not just being loud, everything's going to be cool. I would go kick it with New York every night, man. Probably at least 15, 20 minutes before I went to bed. He lived at the very, very back of the cell that was like close to the bathroom. Again, I'm just painting a picture for y'all so you can like really, really trying to envision what I'm speaking of. Me and him got so cool, man. And the thing about the Rotary Farm is like you get cool with a person and they come and get you. B&B, 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:30 in the morning. B&B means pack your stuff up, you're getting transferred. Your dog you've been kicking it with. Just imagine 23 hours a day you in a cell. Your dog you've been kicking it with, he gets transferred or whatever. So it's inevitable that you're gonna be, split up or whatever. He goes his way, I go my way. I can't remember which one of us got transferred first. But that's how I ultimately, initially met New York. Cool dude. I said New York was about 50. Dark skinned, bro. He had gray hair. Had a gray beard. Wasn't all the way gray, but somewhat gray. He was about 6'3". Maybe 190 pounds, 200 pounds, 210 because of his height. And he was just cool and laid back. But the thing about New York, man, New York was a gangster, man. See, it's easy to look at a person and judge them and oh, man, he's cool, man, he's laughing, he's joking, man. New York was a straight G. Obviously, he's from New York, but he had moved out to the West Coast. When he moved to the West Coast, ended up getting caught up in some, he never really fully told me the story, understandably. But they had a robbery. He partook in a robbery. Someone ended up getting unalived. Well, guess what? That was his third strike. Life. No, actually, it was death penalty. They gave him the death penalty. I want y'all to rock with me. I want y'all to really, really understand what I'm saying. It was his third strike. California, back then, they had the 3-strike law. I don't know what it is now, but I know back then, it was his third strike. On top of the fact, which was a sentence enhancement for it being his third felony, he's on death row. Literally on death row. They keep the death row individuals separate from the rest of the population, from GP, general population. I break things down in my videos, so my videos may be a little longer. Why? Because a lot of times when I watch, and this is no hate, a lot of times when I watch prison content creators, they talk prison lingo, and a person like me understands, even though it may be from a different state or whatever, but I still understand what they're saying. But your average individual doesn't understand what you're speaking of. So that's why I take the time to really break it down. My Cash App is $KENZ1000. $KENZ1000. Just keeping it all the way real, man. And so they go in and they do what they do or whatever. Someone ends up getting unalived. That wasn't supposed to be the plan. But robberies never, I'm not going to say never, but the majority of the time, robberies just don't go according as planned. That's why you don't do robberies. That's why you don't do crime. That's why you don't break the law. Get you a job. Get you 2 jobs. Get you 3 jobs. Go to school. If you don't like college or book work, get you a trade. Do something. Get you a skill. But turning to the streets and penitentiary, that's not what it is, man. Graveyard and death, man. Actually, that's the same. Graveyard/death, penitentiary. And once you're in the penitentiary, it's like you're in the graveyard because nobody really remembers you. all they can do is just talk about the things that you all used to do. Man, I remember that time, man, me and Ken's did this, we did that. But Ken's got 40 years, man. We'll never do this and that again. I want y'all to really understand what I'm saying and understand the reasons why I make these videos. Death row, man. Dude was on death row, man. He's fighting his cases as much as he can. You on death row, so you only get they have to bring you the law books, but it's like you have to do a lot of things for yourself. But he had people on the outside that was helping him, and his death row sentence got overturned to life without. Now they gotta let him off death row. Now he's on the yard. He's in California, man. Maximum security, probably San Quentin, or I don't know exactly where he was at, because I don't remember where he said. There's so many prisons in California, but I know that he was in California. Maximum security. He didn't give up after that. He kept fighting. People kept fighting for him. Innocent projects program or whatever. Basically, it's just a program, people that come along and help you out. If they look at your case and they feel like, nah, hold on, something's not right. Because see, I always talk about how ruthless these prosecutors are, man. They don't care if you're innocent. I want you all to understand, and I have prosecutors and I have judges. I don't know about judges, but I have lawyers, police officers, correctional officers that watch my videos. They've responded to me in my email. Let me make you all understand something, or attempt to make you all understand. They don't give a fuck about you, man. Understand that. Understand that they just care about their careers. They don't care if you're innocent. They don't care if you're not. They want to advance their careers. Understand that. This is factual. This is big facts. These police don't care nothing about you, man. Prosecutors. That's why if you ever caught up in a situation, they bring you down to interrogation, man, give me a lawyer. Don't say I wasn't there. Don't say I don't know what you're talking about. Don't say nothing but an attorney. If they keep questioning you, keep saying attorney. Because once you say you want a lawyer, they're not even supposed to ask you any more questions unless you voluntarily continue to talk. Lawyer. I don't care if you're 1,000% guilty. Lawyer. They don't box you up, man. When I say box you up, put you in a box. You got to do like P. Diddy. He was dead wrong. He's scumming. P. Diddy's a piece of shit, putting his hands on women. But they come in and hit the man with a RICO act. Man, a RICO, so that they can give him life in prison and take everything that he ever had, opposed to just punishing him for the things that he actually did, putting his hands on women. That's how they play, man. I'm telling you all. This is how I'm getting hyped, because I understand. A lot of you all don't. Some of you do. I understand how this really works, man. Once they get you, and this man is damn near $1 billion dude, and he still ended up getting 50 months. So what do you think they're going to do to us? This dude got 11 lawyers. What do you think they're going to do to us? They'll be lucky to have one lawyer. What do you think? Locking people up is a freaking business, man. I say it and I say it and I'll continue to say it. Locking people, that's why they have private prisons. I just seen somebody sent me something today that showed to where the incarceration rate is going down. Why? Because people are not committing crimes at a rate in which they used to commit them 4, 5, 6 years ago. Well, guess what? They're going to hire more police officers. They're going to have more people that's out to just pull you over. Because they have to get those quotas. They got to lock people up. They got to keep these beds filled. I'm not talking about the rapists, people that mess with elderly people, kids, and, you know, just outright violent. I'm talking about like the people that just steal stuff out of Walmart. Is it right? No, it's not right. But guess what? If this carries 90 days, give me 90 days every time that you catch me stealing out of Walmart. You get targeted doing 90 days in that county jail. But no, what they want to do is, especially in the Commonwealth state of Kentucky, what they want to do is, okay, you got caught stealing out of Walmart 3 times. So we're going to make this a felony, which is called aggravated. So now instead of just facing 6 months, 12 months in the county jail, which is a misdemeanor, no, we're going to make it a felony and send you to penitentiary. That's how they keep these beds filled, man. I'm telling you all what I absolutely know. It's not what I think. It's not what I heard. It's not what I figured. It's not what this is what I know. They don't care anything about you being innocent. They looking at you, okay, this is a poor person. He don't got no money or whatever. So listen, you're facing, or you could be facing 10 years, 15 years. We're going to give you 3 years, but you got to take it today. But damn, I didn't even do anything. Listen, we don't got nothing to do with that. Either you're going to take his 3 years, or we're going to press the matter, push the matter forward, and you could potentially get 10, 15, maybe even 20 years at a jury trial. Man, I ain't even do nothing but your lawyer, so-called lawyer, your public pretender, your public defender. He ain't even been to see you, been in the county jail all this time. He been to see you one time, and he ain't really trying to, or she's not really trying to work with you. Guess what? You got to plead guilty. You may not even be innocent, but well, hell, I could at least be out in 30 days or 90 days, 120 days, 6 months at worst. But if they find me guilty, man, they're going to give me 20 years. Man, I can't do 20. I can't do 10 years. They don't really know the law. So they take these plea deals, these prosecutors, man, and there's nobody to regulate them because they all work together. Police, detectives, the same thing. Prosecutors, judges, so-called experts. And then when you bring an individual along like Diddy, they got that long money that he can bring in his own experts. He can bring in his own professionals. He can bring in his own attorneys, and he has several of them. Well, they don't like that. Now they say, oh, he's trying to flaunt his money. He's trying to, no. He's playing on even playing ground. It's not even really even playing ground with you D-suckers, man. This shit disgusts me seeing how they do people, man. Truly, truly disgusts me. I never got away from the topic at hand, so I'm not going to say, well, let's get back to the topic at hand because it's all relative. It pissed me off, man. New York, fortunately, gets off death row. Shouldn't even have been on death row. Although he did partake, but it shouldn't have been what it was. And then he has life without. Like I said, the Innocent Project, people, they continue to work with him. He continues to stay in that law library or whatever. So now, the life without, he's on the yard one day. How do I know? Kens, was you in the California prison system with him? No, but he told me, showed me his paperwork, which he didn't have to, but he did. He's on the yard one day playing handball, working out, whatever he was doing. They call him up to the administration building. He don't know what's going on. They call me up to the admin building for, I got to write up. He don't know what's going on. They tell him in 60 days he's going home. His sentence has been commuted from life without to, I want to say, time served, because they had overcharged him. It's another thing that they always do, that they will overcharge you. So you'll end up pleading guilty to what perhaps you should have been charged with. You'll take the max. Say you facing 1 to 5. That's all you should have been facing, was 1 to 5. But they'll charge you with something to believe, to lead you to believe that you're facing 10 to 20 or life. So they'll say, man, you better take this 5 today. If not, and you take the 5 years. Gotta have you some money, man. And not just a little bit of money. 20, 30,000, that ain't no money. 40, 50, that ain't no money. If you find yourself in a situation, especially with the feds, you find yourself in a situation and you got to fight these people, man, you better, and I'm talking on a low scale. We're not even talking celebrity status, man. You better have you a couple 100,000 strong, man. 200,000-300,000 strong, man. Lawyers know what you're working with. They know they know. He couldn't believe it. Second chance in life that he never even thought that, yeah, he's fighting, he's still, but to just imagine, you got a life sentence. You've already been commuted from death row. You got a life sentence in California, 3rd strike law. Meaning that it's your 3rd felony, guess what? You're out. Don't agree with that. Well, don't commit felonies, yeah, but there's levels. If it's not violent, I don't agree with that. Do I believe that everybody needs to be held accountable for their actions? Absolutely. I definitely do. But come on, man, you lock a dude away or a woman away, throw away the key because it's a 3rd theft charge or whatever. Come on, man. Let's be realistic. Told him he's going home in like 60 days. He couldn't believe it. He does the remainder of his time. They let him out. He's getting out of California. Somehow ends up in Kentucky. I forget the exact city that he was, residing in. 5-6 years later, accountability. He was dead wrong. He finds himself incarcerated again. Another robbery. No one got hurt or anything like that. I don't even think it was a weapon involved, but it doesn't have to be a weapon involved with the robbery. If I go to Walmart, which that's not my thing, but I'm just giving you all an example. If I go to Walmart and I have whatever, I stuff them in my pants or whatever, they put the long johns on under their pants and stuff whatever they stuffing in their pants, and they try to walk out, and one of the employees at Walmart tries to stop them, and even if they put their hands on you first, if you retaliate and just toss them to the side, or you punch them, or you whatever you do, flip them, guess what? In Kentucky, it's second-degree robbery, man. So you turn a misdemeanor, because if you had to just walked out of the door, and as long as it wasn't over $500, it's a misdemeanor. You turn a misdemeanor into a felony. So now, by turning that into a felony, you facing 1 to 5, but you put your hands on the person, even though they put their hands on you first. Second-degree robbery in Kentucky carries 5 to 10. Oh, but you've already been convicted of a felony 3 years ago. So guess what? Now you facing 10 to 20. These sentence enhancements were made for violent offenders, but they weren't locking up enough people because enough people weren't doing violent acts. So they started applying the sentence enhancements to everybody. And that's not what it was originally designed for. Chance of a lifetime. Second chance of a lifetime. And New York messes it up. Yeah, I got to hold New York accountable. Not judging, because I done messed up several times just myself. Or myself, rather. But I got to call a spade a spade. Bro, you was on death row. Then you had life without. Then they let you go and you didn't even know, and you still out here robbing, and you still out here, whatever the case may be. That's how I initially came into contact with New York at the Rotary Farm. Like I said, he went his way, I went my way. A couple years later, we found ourselves on the same yard. New York, he had some family support, but he didn't have a lot. But his daughters, and he had like 3 daughters. They would send him some money. I don't think his parents were even alive at the time. Well, at the time, if they weren't alive then, they're not alive now. I mean, no disrespect, but I gotta watch my wording sometimes. He's a hustle on the yard, though. He had already been there. I got there. I got transferred there. He's a hustle on the yard, man. He's a store man, meaning if you need something, you need an orange juice, if you need a soda, if you need 2-3 noodles, whatever the case may be, okay. You need 2 noodles, give me 3 back. You need 5, or you need 3, give me 5 back. You need 5, give me 8 back. That's how he made his money on the yard. And he ran parlay tickets. Parlay tickets is like on a day like today. On Sundays, football season, Saturday and Sundays. Football season, penitentiary. There's nothing fun about the pen, but I'll tell you what, by God, that's how they talk in the hollers. That's what them country dudes say in the hollers, by God. There's nothing that's more relaxing if you're a sports fan and you got your own TV, even if you don't have your own TV. Because in the state, you can have your own TV. In the feds, you can't. Never been to the feds. You just laid back, kicking it, watching the games all day long. You got Monday night football. You got Thursday night football. You got all day Saturday if you like college. So that 4 or 5 months in which football season is, going on, your time goes like that. Run these parlay tickets. Bet on the games. Bet on 1 team, 2 teams, 3 teams, 4 teams. The more teams that you bet on, for you all that don't know anything about gambling and parlay tickets, for instance, say I bet on 4 teams. I bet on these 4 teams to win, and they have to win by a certain amount of points. Well, I may bet $5. Let's just say I bet $2. We'll keep it small. $2. Well, 4 teams hit. That $2 is gonna pay me 10 to 1 odds. See what I'm saying? Actually, in prison, it's 8 to 1 odds On the streets, it's supposed to be 10-1. It is 10-1 odds, but in prison, 8-1 odds. So I'm gonna win $16. Don't seem like a lot, but in prison it is. If I bet $5 on it, guess what? It's gonna pay me $40. Remember, it's 8-1 odds. Typically, the house man is gonna win. Just the way that it works. Just gives you something to sweat. They call it sweating in Kentucky, man. I'm sweating my ticket, man. You sitting there, you might have 2 or 3 tickets. You looking, man, I just need, the Jets to win, or I just need the Raiders to win, or I just need Dallas to lose, or, whatever the case. I shouldn't even use that analogy because I am a Cowboys fan, but I hate Jerry Jones. Hate him. So I ain't really been talking about the Cowboys too much this year, but for you all that been rocking with me, you already understand. He's doing his thing, man. He's getting his money or whatever. Runs across an individual. I'm not going to say he ran across the individual. Actually, I guess I would have been the one that ran across the individual because I was just getting there. Dude named Mop Head, man. Dark-skinned dude. Remember I said New York was probably 6'3". Mop Head was about 6'1". Had like a little baby fro. He was growing his dreads out, his locks or whatever. He was trying to. He might have weighed about 190. He worked out all the time, did 1,000 push-ups a day, burpees, and he was in shape. While New York is about 50, look 50, I would say that Mop Head was maybe about 31, 32. You could tell he's probably over, but he just hadn't really reached that level of maturity yet. Like, he didn't understand that, like, I'm over 30 now and I can't do the same things that I was doing like at 23, 24. Mop Head was a cool young dude, man, and him in New York, they rocked. Like, they was actually cool. Now, I know this because we were all in the same dorm. See, penitentiary in Kentucky, a lot of times, it's dorms. Do they have cells? Yes. But it's rare that you go somewhere to where you're in a cell. I'm not going to say it's rare, but it's just as common to have a dorm, which is an open area like an army barracks, opposed to individual cells. The only place that I know of that has individual cells is Eddyville, home of Death Row, Kentucky State Penitentiary, where Felice Johnson did a lot of his time. Most other places that do have cells, you're going to be in the cell with another individual. And I will forget this particular day, man. And, we all talk stuff during football season, basketball season, sports season, whatever. Well, New York loved the Giants and he loved the Jets. Loved them. I'm talking about, man, just loved them. What's so ironic about this whole scenario was that him and Mop Head, they worked out together some days. Not every day, but they were like really, really cool. Mop Head loved, for some reason, he loved I was going to say the Sixers. He loved the Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles loved him. Said that he used to live in Philly back in the day or whatever, so that was his squad, that was his team. This particular Sunday, they were playing, and Mop Head, man, was talking crazy. See, we all would talk, a little smack. Me, I never really got into that too much because it's penitentiary, man. You can never get too comfortable. You hear people say all the time in the pen, man, I don't play every day. I don't play on Tuesdays. I don't play on Thursdays. You may play with an individual, jokingly or whatever on a Tuesday. Then they wake up the next day, they done got some bad news, or a girl done sent them a Dear John letter, or they didn't get a letter from that girl, or a girl didn't answer the phone, whatever the case may be, somebody passed away. Now they really, really ready to unalive you. Which I was just joking the prior day. You don't play with anybody in the penitentiary. You don't play with nobody in life. As a grown man, you don't play with people, but you especially don't play with a person in the penitentiary. He's talking crazy. When I say he, referring to Mop Head, he's talking crazy to New York or whatever. Phillies, they ended up beating the Giants. Weak ass niggas. F New York. This is Kentucky, nigga. F New. He took it way, way, way overboard. Understand? Okay, man, y'all can't fool with my team. Y'all can't fool with the Eagles. Y'all can't. But nah, he took it way to the left. To the left, to the left. And that's where he took it at. New York was already feeling some type of way because he's like, bro, I feel like dude disrespected me. Then he had just gotten flocked by the parole board, meaning that he thought he was going home. He had an 8-year sentence. He did almost 2 years to see the parole board. They gave him another 24 months, meaning come back and see us in 24 months. But he had that Cali. See, a lot of times in prison, you don't tell people how much time you have. You don't tell people, what you're in there for. You just kind of keep your business to yourself. He was already feeling some type of way. He just got his letter, because you don't see the parole board. They review your file, meaning they'll literally review what you're in there for, what your criminal history is, what have you done since you've been in there. See, they make it sound to the public as though it's fair, but it's not. You don't get to talk for yourself. Just think about it. You apply for a job. You apply for a job, but you can't go in there and speak for yourself. They're just going to look at your resume. It's cool that you got a good resume, but you don't have any sort of, you can't be personable. You can't, and that's how they do with the parole board here in Kentucky. He's waiting on his decision. He knows that he goes up for parole this particular month, but he don't know the exact date. They don't tell you anything. You just get a letter and saying, okay, you can go home or you can't go home. It's the reason you can't go home, which is typically the seriousness of the crime. They'll put seriousness of the crime for child support. I done seen them not let people go home for child support. He's waiting on this letter. Dude's talking crazy to him. Actually, he had already gotten his letter, and they giving him 24 months. I'm sorry. He got to pay dude $30. Dude beat him out of $30. He didn't care about that. He got plenty of other money coming in from the people that didn't beat him. But this dude is just talking reckless, man. Just insulting him, just getting very, very disrespectful. Bitch ass New York. You niggas think y'all can come down here? Well, guess what? New York wasn't riding with that. Again, I'm going to leave y'all with a cliffhanger, man. I'm going to bring y'all part 2. Later on this evening, as far as how New York handled that scenario. And it's something you definitely don't want to miss. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Go Dallas Cowboys. Last time I looked, it was 20-3, I believe, over the Jets. My dog TB, number 6. I know you rock with the Steelers, but y'all on a bye this week. Y'all need to get it together, man. You know what I mean? And so do we. Real Kens TV. Stay tuned for part 2, because it's definitely coming soon.